What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another DFS Army Showdown breakdown. We've got the Patriots at the Rams. Where my turds at? All right, we're taking a look at the Patriots and Rams Showdown Thursday night contest, and I have the two Showdown master faders themselves, Bobby Clinks and DFS up north. What's up, fellows? What's up? What's up, Bobby Clinks?
Hey, never a dull moment, man.
What's up, Josh?
I'm just I'm glad this is going out to the airwaves free. Then you just called me and Bobby masturbators.
Master Bater. It's two words.
Punctuation is key. Yes.
Yes. Space in it.
Right?
All right. So, guys, I don't know what's been going on, but all I see are DFS Army helmets destroying these contests day after day, week after week. The domination station was literally spitting fire on Tuesday night. I think like 14 members took first place in various contests. After the Boykin pivot was like unreal. Bobby, fucking great calls. Everybody nailed it. Josh, you were betting Boykin over yardage totals. The funny thing was he only got one catch. In fairness,
it was lucky.
It was a lot lucky, but getting off of Dez in time was spectacular on Tuesday night. It's just been a lot of showdowns. And the Dom, part of the reason why a lot of people took it down was because the winning lineup was within 200 of spending full salary. And anytime you're optimizing and that's going on, yeah, you're going to be in a big tie group, but there's a really good chance you're going to hit that lineup. So
yeah, even on Draftkings, like I went back in today and reran it, and it was like lineup number 9 or something like that. That was the nuts.
Yeah, like pops right up. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So that's why so many people took it down. That was awesome. Love the tools. One of the things to tell people is like, if you really don't want to spend the time, just run the just like allow it to do its thing, and it's going to win tournaments a few times a season. Like it's not going to happen a lot, but it's going to happen a few times. Certainly in the showdown, it's going to win them more, frequently enough. So we've seen quite a few of those. So pretty awesome stuff. We're going to keep going. We've got a really, really high-end defensive game. I'm going to spit some defensive numbers at you for this one, guys. So again, we got a 44.5 point total on this game with the Rams favored by 5 at home, which is surprising. I think they should be favored by more, but whatever. If you want to bet that, that's on you. Defensively, the Rams are number 5 DVOA against the pass and first in passing yards allowed. So, I think that number is actually deceptive. I think they're pretty much the best team versus the pass. And they're currently sitting at number 9 versus the run. But the yards per carry and the yards per pass are first and third respectively. So this is essentially one of the best, if not the best defense in the league right now. On the flip side, Patriots 28th against the run this season, very poor, and 21st against the pass. So nothing special according to the DVOA for the Patriots. So we have what is essentially a game that sets up with one great defense at home, taking on a mediocre offense, going up against being the Rams. And then the Patriots been pretty mediocre this year, guys. Nothing special. Take the recency bias out of your mind. All right, let's do, guys, the three of us together and everybody watching. I want to do an exercise. Okay? I learned this from my sensei. I learned this in the martial arts. We're going to do let's release the recency bias from the Patriots destroying the Chargers. In, out, in through the nose, out through the mouth. You got to do the hand movements, Josh.
Stephon Gilmore. Oh, sorry. Oh, yeah. Okay.
Release the recency bias. Okay.
I have a hard time. Like Gilmore missed 6 weeks? Like he's been back. They've been much better the last 2 weeks. I'm having a hard time letting go of the recency bias.
He is just one man. He can't turn the whole defense around. This is not a team. This is not the 45-0.
No.
We're going to release that. And remember that this is a Patriots defense that has not been elite this year. Okay, I just want to make sure we all get that out of our system.
That's true.
Okay?
I can agree to that.
Yeah, we just get it out of our system. Recency bias is the enemy. We don't like it. All right, so there we go. We've got the live odds. We don't always do meditation on these, but I felt like I wanted to release that. Needed to let it out. All right, so we've got a 44.5 point game total here. Rams only 5.5 point favorites. Again, recently they should be more than 5.5 point favorite. We're not going to talk about that. This isn't a betting show. This is a showdown breakdown. So let's bring up both of your sheets. Let's start with oh, that's my sheet. Wait a minute. Here we go. Showdown sheet. We're going to start with Draftkings and start to talk about who are the potential captains in this game. Now, when we think about these two teams, let's just go through the two of them. On the Rams side, we've got obviously Jared Goff, the quarterback, not necessarily a captain kind of a player, not a quarterback that tends to put up monster scores. And, there's a fairly concentrated, actually, so it's not concentrated. It's a large group of pass catchers that could potentially be scoring for the Rams here. A wide receiver, you talked about Stephon Gilmore. I expect him to be on Robert Woods.
Right. That's what it looks like. The shadow will be on Woods.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm thinking. That's what I think we're all thinking. Cooper Kupp plays out of the slot. Cooper Kupp should be the preferable play. I think we'd all agree on that. You've got him. Yeah, so you've got him 5 stars and 4.
Yeah, he's my favorite play.
Okay, that's good. Now, the other pass catchers for the Rams, obviously Josh Reynolds, he gets mixed in. He's in the mix. He gets mixed in. And then, of course, the 2 tight ends, never easy to choose between these two. And I think that's one of the difficulties of the slate between Gerald Everett and Tyler Higbee. No way of knowing which one will be better. Last week, I think it was Higbee who was having like the better game.
Yeah, Everett got the volume last game, but Higbee got the touchdown.
There it was. Okay, so he did the score. That's right. Recency bias. Right. All I remember is who got the points. Let's take a look at what happened with the two last week. And again, Higbee. Let's see, 6 targets. Okay, got the touchdown. Everett a little cheaper, 7 targets. So volume, more receptions. Both had a good day. How do you fucking deal with this?
Right. They're both good plays.
Very difficult. It's not easy. At running back. The Rams don't make it any easier at running back, guys. Although I kind of think that Cam Akers has sort of taken over. Do you guys like Bobby Wow? Is it Cam Akers' team now? I mean, 22 carries, 1 target last week. But then Darrell Henderson, he scored 15. He got the touchdown. Okay, so yeah, it was all Akers. Henderson got the touchdown.
Henderson, he broke off a longer run for the touchdown, but I think the deal is Sean McVay is impossible to trust. We can't read Sean McVay. Who knows exactly what he's going to do? But Geek, I tend to think along the lines of what you just said. I think Akers showed enough, to be the primary back. I think he's going to be the guy that sees the majority of the snaps. And I think they're going to move away from that like awkward triple split that they've had.
I hate the triple split.
Ugh.
But yeah, I agree. I think Akers he's my favorite of the 3 without a doubt.
Yeah, and mine too. Like the only hang up that I have is that Henderson missed like 4 series last game. Is that what it was? And that's when Akers really came in and kind of crushed. But so that gives me a small hang up on it, but I really do think Akers is the guy. They spend a draft pick on him. They like him. And I'm just looking up his props right now, and he's double the yardage of Darrell Henderson for his props. And I don't even think Malcolm Brown is really playable even in this game. So yeah, I really like Akers, and you can run on the Pats, right? Like that's kind of been the go-to all year. So I'm big on Akers this week. I'm
just going to pop up the power ranking sheet right here to get an idea. And as you said, you can run on the Patriots. The expectation here is 127 yards rushing for the Rams, 129 for the Patriots. Look, this is scary, dude. I mean, that is a bad passing number.
Well, 69 yards last week.
It's not good. It's not good. Elite defense. So we talked a little bit about the Rams. The Patriots, we talked about at the beginning of this show, are not good DVOA versus the run this season. They're in the bottom. They're subpar. They're below average against the run, stopping the run this year. And the only average against the pass. So Patriots, nothing special. Although you're right, Josh, a lot of those games were against without Stephon Gilmore. He's back now. So, you know, do with that.
I think that changes their defense enough to where it makes me like it's. I think it'll be closer than I think 5 is an okay. It should maybe be 7, but like I think it's going to be closer than people think, and that seems to be what the Pats have been doing, right? Like the last 3 or 4 weeks against Arizona, against Houston, like they were in games, you know, and that says something not only about the defense but about the coaching too. Like I think McVay's an okay coach, but he's not Belichick.
Yeah, I'm not here to judge his skill as coaching. I mean, you know, McVay, whatever, it was a good offense, right? They figured it out and they're adjusting. So, you know, they are what they are. But I think defensively, the Patriots, you're right. I think the numbers may be downplaying them a little bit because having one elite cornerback actually changes an entire defense. You don't need to double cover the number one wide receiver for a team, and that like affects everything. You can have an extra man in the box. It helps your running game. It just helps a great coach defensively do great things, which is what we saw last week. Bias out, right? But what we saw last week against the Chargers. But here we go. I mean, it's just bad numbers. And part of this is because the Rams are elite defensively, more so versus the pass. But when you're stopping the pass, man, the run, it's not going anywhere either because you can't move the football. You can't get first down. So this Rams defense is going to be a tough cookie to crack for this very, very mediocre Patriots offense. So let's talk about them for a second here, as we've already covered the Rams side of this. Basically, you've got Cam Newton at the top of the list here. Josh, you had a really poignant point about him. It's like, you know, 10 points or 25. Like,
yeah, he's going to be a legitimate captain play, like, or a nuts captain possibility, or he's going to absolutely tank your lineups. Like, there's not a lot of in between with Cam.
Bobby, what's your take on Newton in this one?
You know, I think, you know, for FanDuel, Newton makes more sense than DraftKings. He's the guy that does it all. He's the safest play on the Patriots team. But again, I don't know. I don't have a lot of faith.
Yeah, I'm very concerned. I don't like anything about the Patriots in this game, and that's a problem for me because, listen, again, Aaron Donald, best player in the NFL. Player. Outside of maybe a Pat Mahomes. Like, I don't know. I like comparing defense.
I mean, here's what's interesting about Newton, right? Like, I wrote up that I think he needs at least one rushing touchdown, right? Like, to be in the nuts, and he's minus like 115 to score a touchdown. He's the biggest favorite. I think the Rams did a really nice job shutting down a Kyler Murray last week. Newton does things a little differently, obviously, but it's hard. Like, he's not going to throw the ball, right? Like, so
he's got to get to the 1 yard line to get that touchdown.
And that's the thing is, like, can they get to the 10-yard line?
This is what I'm saying. I have real concerns about the ability of the Patriots. Bobby, how do you deal with this situation?
I guess my question is, and again, probably more so on FanDuel, but just in general, if you're not rostering Cam, who are you rostering?
Right.
We got to figure it out.
Maybe Harris, maybe Snacks, but it just he's the best player to roster. So on that team,
he is, but he's also very expensive. So we have to look at how things come together. Because you're paying elite money for Cam. The thing with Newton, though, you're right, is even if he has a terrible game, he's probably getting you 12.
He's probably in the nuts.
Yeah, like you know, he's probably getting there, especially if the way salaries work out is really crazy. So you can't even fade him because of like situations like this where you got Demir Bird for 800.
What?
Why?
Geek, if you had to guess, what do you think Cam's passing yardage prop is?
I'm going to say 140 yards.
It's got to be less, right?
163.
Oh, it's more? Wow.
185.
181.
Okay, there we go.
I mean, if he can get to 181, I like their chances here. But gosh, it's hard to envision that scenario in your head.
I love your embrace of the props tool.
Matt, I've said it. I say it in my notes all the time. Vegas is smarter than me.
100%. All right, so Cam, we're all going to be. Vegas is smarter than all of us. They are. Money is the smartest.
It's true.
Money.
It's true.
Always follow the money. Sometimes you could beat it, but not all the time. Not most of the time, just sometimes. So beyond Cam Newton, right? It's going to be hard to throw on the number on a highly ranked pass defense, right? It's not easy to throw on these guys. And it doesn't help that the Patriots are not a good passing offense. Like it's weakness versus strength. It's really bad. So we've got the running back Damian Snacks Harris over here. He's been looking pretty good, but the monster games are few and far between. He's a little pricey, but he is the lead back. Sony Michel mixing in, James White mixing in. I don't love it. I don't love anything about.
I'll say this about Harris. So this might anger people. I saw a little Marshawn Lynch in him.
Really?
Last week. He's dude's
good,
running with a chip on his shoulder. He's a third round draft pick. He wants to be the Patriots guy, and they want him to be their guy. They drafted him to be their running back moving forward. And he's been running really, really tough in a really crappy offense. And I think David Montgomery can attest to that as well. But I do like Snacks. I think, he's shown fire. And yes, it's an insanely tough matchup, but I don't mind him.
I think it's a really intriguing contrarian GPP play because if he scores, right, like if he scores a touchdown, that means that Cam Newton is not. So you can gain a ton of leverage on the field by Harris. Like if you have Harris at captain or just Harris without Cam in your lineup by him scoring. And the Rams are good, but they've given up a touchdown to a running back in 4 straight games.
There you go. So, I mean, the openings could be there for Harris here. And I agree with you on this point. He is the lead back for the Patriots. With Rex Burkhead out of the way, they really aren't doing the whole 3 backs thing. And Sony Michel's really just mixing in for like some rest. He's playing special teams. I'm not really worried that much about Sony Michel coming in. And that's a funny comment. Auburn actually made it funny. So good. I'm going to give him credit for it.
Lord have mercy.
All right. So beyond that, and I agree with you, but it's a tough play here. Not a great matchup, but again, no one has a great matchup. The bigger problem with Damian Harris for me on DraftKings is just that they don't throw to him. So again, he's going to need to get a touchdown. He's got to get in the end zone. He's not going to be 130 yards here. He's got to get in the end zone. I don't expect a 100-yard game.
Agree or disagree with this statement? If you're not playing Cam Newton, you got to play Harris.
I would not lock that in as a rule.
I wouldn't lock it, but
not as a rule, but just in general, just as a thought.
Conceptually, I agree with where you're going with it. That is in a game flow assumption where the Patriots are keeping pace and like they're playing to the 5-point spread. They've scored twice in the game. Somebody's got to do it, right?
He does.
I agree with that.
He has the best rushing total on the slate.
Oh, for sure. But I do see a scenario where the Rams just blow the shit out of the Patriots in this game. And so I wouldn't want to do it in every lineup. I want to have some lineups built around the smash. And in those, you might want to have like a wide receiver that could get there a little bit quicker. So let's talk about Jalen Ramsey. He's going to be on the law firm. Who do we expect Jalen Ramsey to be covering in this game?
I mean, if they stay on that side of the field, it's probably N'Keal Harry, but I mean, they don't really have a lot of receivers.
Yeah, I mean, do you really need to shadow like Jacoby Myers?
No, and Myers actually runs like 50% of his routes out of the slot. So it's interesting to maybe play him against what's his face in the slot. There's Troy Hill.
Yeah, I mean, isn't Bird out of the slot? No, it's Myers out of the slot.
Myers runs about 50% out of the slot.
Yeah, and then you have Demir Bird on the outside and N'Keal Harry on the other outside, with a little nod to your boy Gunnar Olszewski, who kind of comes in.
Yeah, right? Like, returned to punt last week, got in with the garbage time with Stidham, caught one pass for a touchdown. Like, that's Bemidji State University right there, baby.
Could happen. So, who knows? I'm not going that far. I think that's a bridge too far for me. But we kind of just talked about all of these guys. N'Keal Harry is a really bad play, but notice what's nuts is outside of Jacoby Myers, who hasn't really done much, since his little kind of explosion the last time we had a showdown. Actually, he had a great one. Was it the Jets game? Yeah, I guess it was. Yeah, he had a great game in the showdown against the Jets, and he, broke it open. But since then, it's just been pretty bad. But he's still, I think, the number one wide receiver on this team. Maybe
for sure. I mean, the problem is that I'm gonna have 50% Demir Bird at 800. Like, he's got his Vegas line is like 3-35. Like, at $800, you're getting 6.5 points. It's hard to not have a lot of Demir Bird tomorrow.
I mean, technically, I can argue that it's not that different from playing, N'Keal Harry at 1,800. And what's
I think that's fine too, and that's probably the lower owned play. So maybe that's the better GPP play.
I mean, N'Keal Harry sucks, but caught
a touchdown last week.
Yeah, he sucks though, like as a player. But and then what's the deal with Dante Moncrief? What's his deal? He got a carry. I'm not trusting him.
He played like 11 snaps last week. Like, the ghost of Dante Moncrief is apparently in a Patriots jersey.
Let me see if we need to go that deep here.
Hell no, to the no, no, no. Yeah, to the no. Hell to the no, to the no, no, no. Listen.
No Moncrief, guys.
Somebody asked me in chat today about Isaiah Ford, if he's going to get some snaps, but he is actually back on Miami's practice squad.
So you're saying
they?
No, no.
All right, I won't. They traded a draft pick for him and then cut his ass, and he went back to Miami.
Oh my goodness, we don't have ownership yet, guys. That's why I'm not showing that. Ownerships will be populated tomorrow morning. So far we've established that nothing
don't really like
great
anyone
on the Patriots side, and we're probably gonna have to play a Demir Bird or one of these guys, or just jam Cam in there and really load up. And I feel like my sensibility on the slate is this is a Rams onslaught situation. I want 4-2. I want 4-2 lineups for the most part. I want to approach this as if the Rams are just going to destroy them. What about Rams defense, Josh? I know you're not a defense guy, but
I think they're viable for sure. That's the problem. I wrote that, the Pats don't throw enough to really give them that huge opportunity to make these big plays. So that's maybe a little downgrade for me. I mean, Cam runs the ball a lot. Jesus. I actually think, I don't know, Pat's defense is interesting. Goff can turn the ball over a lot.
I was just going to talk about that. No one's going to play Patriots defense. But
they might, because they scored 31 points last week, but yeah, they shouldn't, right? Like, you would think that their ownership would be low.
Well, the thought is going to be what we're saying. Like, we're saying this, it's Wednesday night, but by tomorrow, other content will come out and they'll be on the same tip most likely. They'll say, Rams onslaught. But no one will play the Patriots defense, or not many. But Patriots defense can play well. The Rams offense is not that great to where even in a losing effort, if the Patriots are hanging in there, it's probably their defense doing a lot of the heavy lifting. Like, wouldn't that be interesting? That be interesting?
I mean, in a low score, like, let's say this is like 21-17 or 21-14. Like, if the Pats D scores, they're going to be in the nuts. Like, even if they lose. Well, so don't be afraid to play the Pats D against a Cup captain or Woods or whoever else.
We've also seen very often that the Nuts captain has the opposing defense in the same lineup. That's happened some 17% of the time. Kickers are definitely in play. I'm going to prefer always the home kicker, the Rams kicker. Matt Gay.
Okay. He's 5 for 7.
Yeah, he's fine.
5 for 7.
And Nick Folk has been almost a folk hero this year with some of the kicks he's been making.
He's been good.
Game. So yeah, I think both kickers are in play. When we say in the nuts, explain why. So what we're saying when we say in the nuts, we're talking about, all right, which player has the possibility to get into, what are we doing when we're building these lineups? We're trying to win a tournament, right? We're trying to get first place in the tournament. In showdowns, first place requires you to have the best possible lineup or the nuts lineup in a contest. It's not like you win these with a really good lineup, but every lineup is accounted for when there's 400,000 lineups out there in a single game slate. There's only so many combinations. So when you're asking how do we say somebody has a chance of being in the nuts, we're saying, all right, in a game, we're looking at all the potential scoring and there's only so many points to go around. So like I can give an example. If Robert Woods catches 6 passes, crosses 100 yards and scores a touchdown, he's in the nuts. He will be one of the people who are in the winning lineup. It's just that simple. So we're looking at, all right, which of these players can wind up, like what are the math? How does the math work? Like, how does this game play out where, you can't probably have 5 wide receiver pass catchers from one team in the nuts, because at some point, if this guy's catching all the passes, that guy's not. So we're looking at scenarios where players can end up in the perfect lineup. Like,
and it's not, right? Yeah. Like, and on DraftKings, it's different too, because we're talking about salary, right? Like, just because a guy is the highest point scorer doesn't necessarily mean that he's going to be the nuts captain. And we almost saw it play out last week or on Tuesday night. If Gallup would have caught one more pass for 14 yards to get the 100-yard bonus, he would have been the nuts captain over Lamar. Yeah. And that would have just blown the slate up. And
can you imagine? Can you imagine?
We were at the end of the game there. I was like, oh my gosh, if Gallup catches a pass here, like Lamar's not the nuts captain. Like, yeah, it's crazy, but that's the sort of stuff that you got to kind of do the math in your head, building your lineups to get to there.
Bobby, wow, did you play no Lamar and captain yesterday?
No Lamar. I had Gallup, and I'm pretty sure I would have split the takedown if Gallup caught another pass before the yard.
Yeah. See, how does Bobby win $1 million and $500,000? Because in a slate like yesterday, and again, he accepts today that it didn't work. But in a slate like yesterday's where everybody was going to play Lamar, he played no Lamar. None at captain. That's
100% on the flex. I'm not that crazy.
Flex, but none in captain. So why would you do that? What are you, crazy? Don't you like money? No, because what did happen yesterday was...
What the heck?
Well, that's what the
that's the reality.
Doing. I don't know what this is, but what it looked like to me is probably not what he was intending. At all. So I don't know what that
I'm just gonna assume some weird north Midwestern thing. Who knows?
That's some up north shit.
Some Minnesota stuff.
But John, you should check out the Dominator tool also. The Showdown Dominator tool on DFSarmy.com, where you can make those adjustments and see the numbers. But as far as like what Bobby's approach was yesterday, look at how that works. So what won the Lamar Jackson lineup that won? I got a point to this, Bobby. I'm not going nowhere. I have a point. The Lamar Jackson lineup that won, like we had a lot of DFS Army. We had multiple DFS Army members win that yesterday, right? I got like 4 screenshots from people. What did they win? They won $7K in a 500,000 to first contest. They won $7K, right? 1, 2, 3 people won that. Then a whole bunch of other people won it in different ones. My point was they tied with like hundreds of people. Sure, it was a very nice takedown. But if you're max entering tournaments all the time and you're winning once in 10 and that win is $7K and you're max entering for $2,200 each time, you're actually losing money in that. You could lose money in that scenario. But if you take one down, if you tie with 3 people, $500K to first, and you wind up getting 250,000. Well, that pays for, that's $7K 50 times over. So the point is, that's how you take one down solo or with 2 or 3 people. These showdown contests are designed for either giant groups of ties, especially when you spend the full salary, so you can enjoy the ties. Well, there you go. Yeah, Jason, of course. Yeah, when you win it with 5 entries, but that's not that easy to do. We did have a couple people win it with 5 entries last night, which is great. But you're not always going to do it. Anyway, Let's continue. So that's where you can fade Lamar Jackson, and it's okay. Because you accept that Lamar's probably going to be the nuts. And if he is, I'm not going to win this. But like, what if he's not? I'm so over the field with every other potential nuts captain. And that's the approach. That's the whole idea. That's why you play Ricky James. That's why you play, Gallup last night. Not everybody was on Cooper, Lamb, Gallup. I played a lot of Gallup too, but like we talked about on the show, Gallup was getting as many targets as those other guys. It was just like, variance that Cooper scored the touchdown in the previous game, but it could be any of them. Yep. So anyway, back to this game. Let's talk about captains. Now that we've looked at both teams, who the hell we play as captain? I mean, on DraftKings, and we'll pop over to FanDuel in a second, but on DraftKings, Jared Goff, I agree with you, Josh.
I don't really like it.
So that leaves us with the 2 pass catchers. We love our pass catchers, Kupp and Woods.
Yep.
Probably the best place. For me, that's where I'd be starting most of my lineups.
Yep.
Probably with Woods. With Kupp, because Woods, he could have a big game. We've seen Woods have big games against elite defenders, but he's still going up against probably Stephon Gilmore, so he's less likely. Man, it gets gross after that. I think Cam Akers for me would be my next. How about you, Bobby? Wow.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with Akers. I do like Woods. He's proven that he can beat even really, really good coverage for GPP. And I think the lowest I would go, and it's low, it would be like a Van Jefferson.
Yep.
But yeah, I agree with everything.
You're going to go all the way to Van, not even Josh Reynolds. You're skipping Josh Reynolds.
Snapped him last week.
We're seeing, we're seeing Jefferson. We're seeing the rise of Jefferson.
Bring up the matchup tool.
Is the matchup tool up to date?
It's updated. Yeah, it's updated.
Okay, I didn't open it because I wasn't. I mean, we had the weird slate. Hold on, let me get that open, man. I love the matchup tool. I purposely didn't open it. I didn't know if it was.
I kind of figured. Yeah, no, it got up.
All right, good. All right, let's get that going over here. Hold on. So this is good. We'll pop that up here in a second. So now, could it be that he outsnapped him because of garbage time last week? Oh no, they didn't have that. Wait,
no, they didn't have garbage time.
Reynolds 46%, Van Jefferson 48%. Oh, well, there you go. All right, so Van Jefferson is a real possibility in this game. That's good to see.
Yeah. I think it's like half the price, or even more, right?
It's not even about the price 3K. At that point. It's not even so much about the salary, but that's an intriguing pay down option
for sure.
Let's see, where's Van Jefferson?
3K, I think, right?
Yep.
Is it bad that I think of like Brown-Eyed Girl every time I see this guy's name? I really do. It's like, hey, that a wiggle. That a win can. Like that. I'm like, Brown-Eyed Girl, Van Jefferson. Isn't that him? No. I do. It comes in my head. Yeah, you want to tell me it doesn't go through your head every time you see his name?
I mean, yeah.
Does it start playing in your brain? I like that. All right.
Now I'm thinking Into the Mystic by Van Morrison. What's going on here? This is too much.
You don't think of that? I mean, come on. What else are you thinking about? All right. So on the beyond that group, I don't see. I mean, I'm not playing a tight end.
No.
I don't like Henderson. I don't like these running backs. It would be for me Woods, Kupp, Akers, and I'll allow you the Van Jefferson. Although that is like Byron Pringle level silly for the Millie.
Galaxy brain.
Yeah. Flip side here, it's tough on the Patriots side, but I feel like Demir Bird.
No,
he had a big game once.
He's so cheap.
He could deal with Ramsey.
So cheap.
I mean,
it's Bird that's cheap, right?
I don't think salaries are that critical because of the Van Jefferson Demir Bird, N'Keal Harry
I see what you're
combination.
saying. Yeah.
Like, it's not going to matter that much. Like, you could put
No.
whoever you want.
Yeah.
If you start with Cooper Kupp here, I mean, you could just, it's easy. You want Woods also, you want Akers, sure. Throw in, whichever of these guys you like, N'Keal, Harry, or
you definitely need Goff in there now.
You probably need Goff now.
Bird, play Goff for sure. Maybe, you can even get, what's his name? Oh, law firm, almost.
I like James White there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean James White. I don't love
scenario
James White
that they're down for sure.
Yeah,
Rams,
in that
how
scenario,
about Rams defense in there? I mean, there's a lot of ways. The point is, you could do whatever you want. Like Rams defense, 8. I like this lineup, man. I think I'm playing it. And by the way, even here, I don't need Demir Bird. I can go up to Van Jefferson, or I guess I need one Patriot, unfortunately. So, but you could put N'Keal Harry in there.
And that's, I think that's the thing too, is, and we get sort of, it's Keg was talking about it in your channel on Tuesday night, is that we just get so sucked into like, we have to use all our salary. And it's more about just telling this story of the game as opposed to like, don't look at the salaries.
You don't need to worry too much about salary here I mean, it's clear it doesn't matter that much.
Right.
Because of the way this is going to play out. I mean, you could see Cam Akers getting there. He could get there. He's got 2 15-point games. If he adds just a little bit to that, he gets a bonus, a rushing bonus, 100 yards, 3-point bonus there. Gets to 21, 22, maybe a miracle reception, an immaculate reception. He could get there too. What about Jared Goff? Didn't he? Let's just take a look at his returns here recently. Yeah, I mean, he's put up some good numbers. I think you have to play Jared Goff as well a little bit. He does have these 27s and 28s. There is plenty of people to spread the football around to. I don't love it, but with salary not really a major factor, you can do it. You can just put him in there, and it's fine. You can get Cam Newton. You can get Cooper Kupp. You can really still do whatever the hell you want. This is one I like a lot, like something like that.
Yep.
Really good too. You got Newton in there. So from what we're going to show here, salaries just don't matter that much on DraftKings for this one. So let's pop over to FanDuel and the Bobby Wow sheet. MVP. Now you're right here on your notes, it lacks obvious smash plays at the MVP spot, but we know we like quarterbacks and running backs on FanDuel. I mean, is it just Cam, Jared, Snacks, and Akers, and then a little nod to the 2 high-end wide receivers? Not surprising. Is that your full pool, Bobby Wow?
No. That's my full MVP. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
I mean, there's not much else that you'd really want to go to.
Yeah.
I don't think we need to go to the depths of the Demir Birds and the Van Jeffersons at MVP here. It's going to be, again, Demir Bird did have one game where he could have been it. No, we don't have a rule like that, Jason. Although maybe there is. Yes, there's a new function that will go live tomorrow on the Dom where you can create a situation like this.
Hey, I like
think.
it. Maybe.
Yeah,
we'll see.
Well, going live tomorrow, a little spoiler alert, is player combination rules where you'll be able to force between 1 and 4 of any players into a lineup. So it's the beginning of some new functionality that we're going to add over time. Yeah, it's cool, but I'm going to make it much more robust. We're starting off basic with it, and then it'll get much more robust over time. But in the flex, Bobby Wow. Goff. I mean, how much Goff? You pretty much all in on Goff here?
Close, not all in, but I mean, it just the running back situation not being completely cemented makes Goff by far the safest play. Not to mention he spreads it out a little bit. Now Van Jefferson's in there with Reynolds as well. So if you're going for safety, I mean, Goff is a lock. He's a lock in cash for sure. In GPP, I'll be overweight.
I feel like the basic cash game approach, or like the quote unquote safe approach, would be Goff, Newton, Akers, and then you got to make it work with like a cheapie or 2.
Probably Matt Gay. Yeah.
Gay coming in at 8K. That's quite a bargain price.
Bird
yeah,
I mean, dead men too, right, on FanDuel?
I think he's 10K. I think only DK priced him up or priced him down. I could be wrong.
Oh yeah, you're right. 10K.
I'm trying to open up. Let me just get FanDuel opened up here so I can kind of demonstrate.
Jefferson 65.
Jefferson's so cheap on FanDuel too.
Like, we're not playing Sony Michel tomorrow, are we?
No. I mean, you could play him, but you're playing for a Harris injury. You're playing for like a Harris injury, which is all right. So you get Goff in there. You could put Newton in there if you want. Get the running back in there. You got 8K left. So in this scenario, you can afford the kicker, Gay, and maybe like, there's actually who's a
Van Jefferson, I think. I mean, or even like Higbee probably would be the safer play.
One of these two. The bummer is you never know which one of these two. There is a second approach where you leave off Newton and you go Cooper Kupp, because I really like Cooper Kupp here. And then you can squeeze in. Look, I mean, Demir Bird is 10K here, which is very interesting. You can't do that. You can't do that. You can't do that.
No,
it doesn't work.
Yeah, in that scenario, I would get rid of. I'd go Jefferson and then Snacks.
Yep, that'd be the
Jefferson's the Gay and then Snacks.
If you're assuming that Newton's not going to have a game, then it's likely that Harris does, right?
Doesn't work.
Yeah, well, that was with Kupp instead of Newton.
Okay, yeah, with Kupp, and then yeah, because I'm like, wait a minute, that those numbers don't work, and then you can go down to Van Morrison.
Yeah.
The brown-eyed boy. Can we call him the brown-eyed boy? No.
What's his?
It's not a good nickname.
Gay popped up on the injury report today, FYI.
Van Jefferson's going to break the slate tomorrow. Like you got to know this. For my guy, where's that dude? For John, we don't have to do the math. You just need to know that Van Jefferson is going to break the slate tomorrow. And we'll be good.
Stop.
It's going to happen. It's going to happen. Nothing really turdly that I'm interested in. I don't want the Patriots to tight end. They don't throw to him. I don't want any of these guys. Is there any other player floating around, in the depths of in the darkest depths of Mordor over here where I should be interested? Like somebody mentioned Malcolm Brown. I think it's, you might see an Everett or a Higbee in the nuts lineup for sure. I would not sleep on these two. Either one of them can get there. Malcolm Brown, man, I got a hard time with a guy getting
his lowest snap count and carries last week.
Yeah, they're just phasing him out.
Yeah.
So I don't like it.
And he was getting the goal line work, and now he's not because Akers is. So that's I just don't think he has much value.
The hardest part here is really going to be, I think it's Jared Goff, but I think you go between Goff and Akers. And if you're assuming that the Rams are going to win, and of course you mix in, because if we can narrow down like the number of MVPs here, there's just not that many other players to mix into these lineups that are viable. I just don't see more than one Patriot wide receiver having a chance at doing anything in this game. If it's anyone, it's just one. It's probably going to come off of like a small number of plays or something like what Demir Bird did that one game.
Yeah. I mean, if you're looking for the biggest, the turd option of all turd options for a FanDuel crazy shot, it's probably James White in the case like Williams gets injured or they go down big early. But even, I mean, he's only 9K, so super cheap on FanDuel. But yeah, even then, he was supposed to smash last week and it was awful.
I never play White. It was such a recency bias. I literally warned everybody. This guy got 5 carries and he scored 2 touchdowns the week before. Like, you don't want to chase that. That was not the usage.
Agreed.
It's going to Damian Harris. He's getting the snaps. So there you have it, guys. FanDuel, DraftKings, where my turds at, Showdown breakdown. Good luck tomorrow night, everyone. Thank you, Bobby Wow. Thank you, Josh. Thank you guys all for being with us. Remember, like, subscribe, sign up at DFS Army, all that good stuff. And let's get those helmets up tomorrow, man. We'll have the ownership projections loaded into the Dom station probably early tomorrow morning or at some point whenever people start waking up. Early morning for us is like 11.
Nah, Keg's up early. He gets that shit in there like bright
He
and
is up
early.
I wake up. I'm up at like 10:30.
I don't think Keg even sleeps. That's
Yeah,
the
I
rumor.
don't
I'm
either.
buying it.
Him
Yeah.
or Tex, like neither of those guys sleep. They make this the ship run.
Yeah, Bobby's up at like 5 a.m. I'm like, dude, I'm just getting to sleep, bro. He like starts texting me.
Texting you at 5 a.m.
Geek's last DoorDash order from the night just arrives at 5 a.m.
Yeah. No, Night Burger is its own. You guys know about Night Burger, right?
No.
Did I make that? People don't know about Night Burgers?
Is it a restaurant or is it a thing?
No, you just a late night burger, man. Like after 11.
You just get it delivered, crush it.
A lot of times, what you do is when you order earlier that day, you order an extra burger for the night burger.
Extra burger. Yes, we've had this conversation.
Lord, no,
Yeah,
I
you
can't.
always
I mean,
order-
Yeah.
you might need to open up a restaurant called Night Burger. I would order from there. I'm not stashing one though.
Night burger sounds really nice.
I like it.
When I go to pick my kids up from like their friends' houses, after they're like teenager and shit, and I'm on my way home, I'm like, you want a night burger?
We're off the rails.
Dunkin' Donuts by me closes at like 9 o'clock. I don't know what the hell. I have the
That's
only
BS.
non-24-hour Dunkin' Donuts. Or else I get
that's
that.
a heartbreaker. I love Dunkin'. That's too bad.
Be nice if it was open, but then it forces me to go get a night burger. What are you gonna do? McDonald's is
What do you
open.
do? I mean, they forced Dunkin' Donuts, forced your hand.
Blame Dunkin' Donuts, man.
McDonald's. Ugh.
Just so you know, Auburn has taken this.
Chat over.
This is what his takeaway is.
Don't do that, please.
That was the takeaway. All right, guys, let's get out of here. Good stuff, everyone. Good luck tomorrow.